Hello ladies and gentlemen, Teo here, back with more Ever17, and we're late, apparently. Takeshi, you're late. You was standing like a guard in the narrow entranceway. The kid was next to her. Yeah, I got here a little before you. Sorry, my bad, I was late. You know that in a group in our situation we have to be punctual, right? Don't get so mad, it's only like 2 minutes, give or take. But 2 minutes could make all the difference in the world. I was late too. Oh, Coco, you didn't get lost or have any problems? You're alright? Wow, the double standard there. Yep, I'm fine. I came straight here. Oh, that's good. Sure treating her a lot different than me. Well, everyone made it here in one piece, so that should be sufficient. Sora looked up from the Lemma terminal and smiled. She walked towards us. So everybody's here. What about Tsugumi? I'm here. Tsugumi was leaning against the lockers on the far side of the room. If you found out anything new, I'd like to hear about it. Did you? Oh, yes, I will tell you. First, there are a few things I want to review. Sora gave us a lecture about the structure of Limu. Limu has 3 layers below the ocean's surface. Erster Boden, Zweitstock, Dreiterstock. Again, apologies to all the German speakers out there who are, at this moment, cringing in their seats. Also, I wish the text was like a little bit larger, the like neon blue text below Dreiterstock, because presumably one of those 3 blue columns is Heimel, right? Well, no, never mind. That's not necessarily true. It might just not be on the map, given like how top secret it is. Okay, never mind. I take it all back. I don't care about the neon blue text anymore. There are nearly 56 feet, or 17 meters, between each floor. If you go down a floor, then you go almost 56 feet or 17 meters deeper. Thus, the 3rd floor, Dreiterstock, is located at around a depth of 167 feet. Outside of Dreita is a total of 6 atmospheres of pressure, 5 atmospheres water pressure, and 1 atmosphere air pressure. Even if hypothetically, you were to suddenly go out into the ocean from Dreita, your lungs would be crushed to about 1/6 of their size, and approximately 5/6 of your lungs would be flooded. You would likely die in a matter of minutes. I've got a question. Go ahead. I've heard that skin divers can dive to depths of about 30 meters. Couldn't somebody just tough out the water pressure on the way up? The current world record for free diving is around 492 feet. And then what did she say we were at right now? That's 56 feet. Or no, 167 feet. This is like 3 times that! We'll be fine. I think I've sat through this conversation before, so I'm pretty sure we end up being like not fine, but like we should be fine. With an aqualung and pauses along the way, probably just about anyone could dive around 115 feet. However, the air sent to your lungs would be highly pressurized gas. Oh, right, yeah, that. You would think that all the Granite Blue I've read would have taught me that, but alas. But with skin diving, they don't stop to breathe along the way. Amateurs can't make it past 65 feet. Wow, is that right? And there's one other important thing. Even if you could withstand 5 atmospheres of water pressure, could you really swim over 167 feet to the surface? You making fun of me? Hey, I may not look it, but in high school I swam a mile. But aren't you talking about swimming on the surface? Swimming 51 meters across something is nothing like swimming 51 meters up something. I'm talking about 51 meters in height. That would be the equivalent of swimming a 15-story building. I have to be satisfied, right? Okay. If you're satisfied with the explanation, we have decided that swimming is a bad idea, with a capital B and a capital I. Swimming a 15-story building, that was insanity. Even from Zweitstock at a depth of 34 meters, that would be about 10 stories. Just climbing that would be a bear. And besides, how would one get outside of Limu in the first place? Yeah, you're right. That's something that just guts alone couldn't get you through. I nodded. And the ocean is pitch black. It would be suicide. You know, the fact that they, like, go into so much length in both sides of the story about, like, swimming is a bad idea makes me think that at some point someone's gonna try and swim. No, I guess not. I guess it could just be, like, that's sort of the intuitive way to get out, or, like, one of the intuitive non-standard methods of exiting the facility, so the writers wanted to ward that off as a possible option. I guess those are the 2 possibilities. Either the writers wanted to ward it off as an option, or they wanted to foreshadow somebody making a really bad decision. That is correct. There's something else I want to say. It's an announcement. I'm still working to gather information and reconnect Limu's communication network with the outside. However, all cable, radio, and network functions are down due to malfunctions. Physically severed cables are flooding. I cannot provide an estimate of when we'll be in touch with the outside. Sonic communication to the outside is also down. Therefore, I've not been able to dispatch an SOS. That concludes my report. How deeply inconvenient. 2 hours had passed. There was no sign of help. If there were people up on the floating island, the least they could do was send someone to check on us. I was trying to be upbeat about things, but with the first floor flooded and the partitions shut, no one was going to be coming down. No one was going to be coming through here. And coming through the ocean, that seemed even more impossible. The flooding of Limu had disrupted the flow of the currents around it. It would be hard for a diver or small submersible to get anywhere near it. We left behind the security office that reeked of smoke, and gathered in front of the souvenir stand. Ready, go. Grrr. Waff. Yeah, that's another win for PP. Woof. I just finished my 34th match against PP. And I lost 34 times. Wait, what are we matching in? Are we racing? It was a pretty one-sided affair. Is there any way that PP could lose? Oh, are you making excuses? First off, you're the one who's making PP's face all funny. I can't make faces that crazy by myself. Oh, is this like a funny face contest, or like if the other party laughs, you win? Well, there's no other way to do it. PP can't make faces alone. Woof. Sounds like PP lacks motivation. Besides, I don't know how to make a dog laugh, so it's not really fair. Well, that's just something you have to get used to. Yeah, okay, this seems rigged. I don't think I've ever seen a dog laugh. So this contest seems like fundamentally flawed. I wondered if it was really just getting used to it. PP laughs when he's happy, right, PP? Woof, woof. Well, I'll just have to admit defeat. Kid, you want to take my place? Me? Yeah, I'm begging you. I'll be the ref. The kid had been talking with you, but he came over. Alright, game time. Don't be too hard on me. Oh, what game are you playing? It looks fun. Sora, who appeared taken with the game, also came over. It's a staring contest. Canine versus human. Wait, staring? I thought it was, not laughing. Well, that seems pretty incredible. Sora covered her mouth with her hand and giggled. Actually, PP-'s incredible. I think I'm gonna have nightmares about this. I shuddered. Now, in their first contest, we have the champion PP versus the challenger the kid facing off in a face fight. I want to get underway, but first, let's hurry up and do this. Well, I think we need to decide what we're gonna call the kid here. Is Kid okay? What do you think? Well, I don't know. You can call him Kiddo. Sure. Kiddo, kiddo, kiddo. Kiddo, huh? You want me to call you that, too? There's gotta be a more normal name than that. John. A little random, but I like John Doe. Don't you think that would be a little rude to all the people named John? Wait, what's wrong with the kid? How would that be rude to people named John? If anything, it's rude to the kid. Like... Well, it's only for a little while, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Takeshi, I thought you wanted a more name-like name than Kiddo. Well then, Koku will think up another name. Kiddo's other name could be... Pablo Diego Jose Francisco de Jora Juan Novecino Maria de los Remedios Cibriano Cristiano de la Santissima Trinidado Luis Picasso. What? What is this kid smoking? That's too long. Anything longer than Yubisei Harukana Tanaka is out. Hey, Takeshi, don't just go blurting out my full name. You, who'd been standing over by the shop, came walking directly toward me. What a pain. In honor of our mascot, I name you John Raccoon Dog Smith. That's crude, Takeshi. Woof. Well, let's see. Why didn't I think of one? How about Melos? Why Melos? Well, he's got no memory. Nah, bad luck to name him that. Sorry, I didn't mean to be so direct. What are y'all bickering about? Tsugumi cut in. If you come up with some random name, it'll be a hassle when he remembers his real one. He is a kid, so why don't we just stick with the kid? The conversation had come full circle. The light suddenly went out and then flashed back on. Please don't do that, lights. It makes me feel uncomfortable when you do that. There was a dull, heavy metallic echo, yet don't do that either. At the same time, there was a slight tremor, and we're 3 for 3 on things that I would rather you not do. What's that? The tremor felt like it came from below. Below? That's, even more concerning. Below? I wonder if something happened below. I will try to investigate. Saying that, Sora held her hands out in front of her. Oh! Just then, a strong lateral vibration jolted the floor. The holographic window that Sora had conjured vanished. Sora! It's alright. The monitor's back online. I'm initiating a scan. Water has penetrated the material storage space in Sector 6 of Dreitstock. It's flooding. I didn't see any signs of that when I made the rounds. Boom, boom, boom. The massive sound of metal giving way accompanied the massive shaking. Scenes from old movies of luxury liners being swallowed by the ocean flashed across my mind. There's damage to the passageways connecting the sectors. Multiple leak areas, and increasing. Hey, don't you think we should grab hold of something? Yes. Everyone grab something and steady yourself. So wait, is it just that Takeshi's route takes place, or like starts a couple hours before the kid's route did, because the kid was napping in the infirmary or whatever? So, like, this is the incident that, like, the kid and you were trying to get out from? I think that might make the patterns of flooding match up. Although I guess I don't know exactly what areas are flooding right now, so I can't say for certain. Okay. I reached out for a support pillar nearby. Coco crouched down as she squeezed PB tightly. Everyone held their breath. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Bam! A huge shockwave rocked us. The whole floor, or rather, the whole of Limu shook. I thought I would be thrown into the ceiling one second or pulverized into the floor the next. The souvenir shop in front of me trembled. The display of dishes in the shop fell to the floor and shattered. The pile of empty cans clattered and gave way. A stuffed animal made a beeping noise as it fell on its stomach. We all steadied ourselves against the shaking. All we could do was endure it. No one said anything. We could hear the squeal of steel twisting. That's not a good sound. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Finally, the sound seemed to get farther away. The vibrations also gradually subsided. Sora announced that the second wave of flooding had finished. Still wary, we headed downstairs. We carefully moved forward down the wet and slippery stairs. With every step, the scent of seawater seemed to grow stronger. We arrived at Dreitstock, basement floor 3. The water level in the corridor reached around my shin. It must have been around 6 inches deep. Yeah, okay, so this, probably, if I remember correctly, this sort of matches up with the pattern of flooding from the kid's route, so I guess it's just a couple hours different. Of course, that raises the question of why is Kid awake so much earlier in Takeshi's route, but we can chalk that up to, I don't know, circumstance, coincidence. Like, that sort of knocks down one of the main pillars holding up my theory about the different time periods. Like, if the pattern of flooding is the same, then that sort of removes one big discrepancy between the two sets of stories. Now it's just sort of like the personnel and the names of the U's. There might be one or two other things, but they're smaller, and I can't remember them off the top of my head. But yeah, other than like the Coco-Sarah split and the U name difference, like there's not much left leading me to believe that the two sets of the story take place in different time periods. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. Limu can't pump out all this water? It appears not. All major areas where leaking has occurred have been closed off by shutting a partition. However, water is continuing to flow in through small ducts even now. The water clearing pumps are operating at full capacity, but to make the water level recede, the big hole will have to be plugged. Is that what you're gonna say? But with the partition shutting off the sector of the original leak, there's no way to access it. Yes, that is so. We entered the central control room. Sora checked the damage via the Lemmic console. But I must sincerely apologize. Even though the second flooding was about to occur, I failed to notice and warn you all. As she manipulated the keys, Sarah bowed her head, looking deeply apologetic. Or Sora, rather. Looks like this is not plot relevant. But we'll save anyway. Force of habit. But if it were plot relevant, which again it isn't, the flowchart's telling me that it's not, I don't know, we'll tell her that's not her fault. They both seem fairly, like, not putting blame on her, so don't see a strong reason to pick one over the other. It's not your fault, Sora. We may have even overlooked the cause of this when we were checking around a little bit ago. We're all in this together. Not at all. Sora answered this without facing away from the monitor. My calculations and predictions were irresponsible. Don't go trying to blame yourself for this. Everyone's fine, so let's just consider ourselves lucky. With her head bowed in silence, Sora kept working. Finally, her hand stopped typing the keyboard. Sora turned and stood up. I've gauged our situation. I'll now display it. Everyone, please do not be shocked or let this get you down. Sora, when you say it like that, it makes us nervous. Oh, I'm sorry. Still, I'm fairly confident that there are few things that will shock me. I see. In that case, we thought everyone was probably numbed by what we had experienced so far. Simply put, the cause of the second influx of water we experienced a short while ago. The sectors that were able to avoid damage during the first flooding were isolated from the flooded sections, and forced ventilation created a sudden reduction in air pressure. That was a sentence. However, the inundated sectors were not able to withstand the weight of the water and tilted, causing a rupture of the joint in the adjacent sector. The gap in the internal and external air pressure caused seawater to be sucked into the complex through the rupture. So many of the sectors that were stable until that moment were instantly flooded. Yeah, this looks the same as last time. Damn it. I was so enamored with that theory, too. That is the current situation of Dreitstock. This blinking area is the central control room, and this is the status of Zweitstock. You serious? You mean nearly half of Limu is underwater? There are 3 sectors in Dreit that are not flooded. Dritta. Right. It's not Dreit, it's Dritta. Or something to that effect. I think. I'm not even sure anymore. The area displayed in the center of the map is Sector 8, where we are. Huh? Looks like the map is displaying roughly 2 areas, but where's the 3rd sector? Actually, due to a flaw in the system, a detailed map cannot be displayed. One part of Sector 4, diagonally above Sector 8, is stable. There's no way to get there? Correct. It's impossible. Why? Because all the corridors connecting the sectors are submerged. In terms of distance, it's roughly 100 yards. I don't think there's anyone among you that is capable of swimming 100 yards without breathing. Therefore, I say it's impossible. Furthermore, even if someone did reach Sector 4, I don't think it would improve our situation at all. Sector 4 is in the same predicament as here. All of the emergency stairs to get to the floating island are completely flooded. So, even going there would be a waste? That's correct. Well, then there's nothing we can do. So we should just forget about Sector 4. We'll have to sit quietly and wait for help to come. Well, I guess we can take it easy for now. I left the room and hit the food stand, snagging some cola for everyone. Alright, cola time, and toss everyone one. Ready? Oops, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm one short. Oh, I don't need one. Yeah, you don't. Oh, don't worry about it. I'll get one more. You can have mine. No, really, I'm fine. I'm not thirsty and I don't really like cola. Sora smiled. Oh, interesting. Because this is the part in the kids' routes where Sora gets, what's the word I'm looking for? Her cover gets blown, right? Because Takeshi tosses her the cola and it goes through her because she's a hologram. But if Takeshi like forgot one can of soda here, then presumably the reveal is gonna get delayed. Sora smiled. Well, in that case, I tossed out the cola to everyone in order. You, Tsugumi, and the kid all took one. But then the kid started shaking his can. Stupid, what do you think you're doing? Huh? If you do that, it's gonna explode everywhere. Really? Is it dangerous? Did you forget that cola is carbonated? I'm sorry. Jeez, I'll give you mine. Here. I switched cans with him. This time, the kid slowly lifted the tab without shaking the can. And it still exploded. Get outplayed. The cola erupted powerfully. The rest of us hurriedly jumped to get out of the way. The kid got a blast of cola in the face. Hey, are you alright? Just so you know, that wasn't my fault. This cola, it's sweet. Cola tends to be sweet, yes. Oh, guys, you should be more careful. You said as if she were at her wit's end. These cans contain pop made with special gas, so they're made at 6 atmospheres. Weren't you listening when they said that the bringing in and taking home of canned beverages was strictly prohibited? Oh man, that would be super funny. Whoa, I didn't know that. I must have missed it. It was true. Normally, the inside of the Limu complex was maintained at 6 atmospheres using a mixture of gases. Now that the floor had become 1 atmosphere, the gas in the can was still highly pressurized, and the gap in pressure with the atmosphere made them burst when opened. It's funny, I thought cola cans were made of like fairly thin metal. I would expect the like 6-to-1 pressure difference to be able to pop them. I think I watched a documentary about the making of soda cans once. It was kind of interesting. It's probably on YouTube. You could probably find it if you dig around a little bit. About the, like, the whole engineering process behind it. But again, I don't know. Physics is not my strong suit, as we've established multiple times over the course of this Let's Play. So maybe the metal in soda cans is strong enough to withstand 6-to-1 pressure differential. I didn't know that. The kid wiped his face with a nearby towel. Hey, kid, no one would expect you to know that. You gotta tell Mr. Amnesia here these things. Alright. I didn't notice until after the fact. Huh? Coco, what's wrong? Coco was embracing Keepy and looked downcast. Thinking about it, I realized that Coco hadn't said anything for a while. It didn't seem like her. Hey, aren't you gonna drink your cola? I held out a can of cola in front of Coco. It's a little warm, but it's the best I can do. I don't want it. Coco mumbled this. I don't feel very good. I've been thinking about it since before, and I haven't been able to think of any jokes. Wait. That's what's got your panties in a bunch? Jokes? I peered down at Coco. She didn't look too good. She was sweating and having a hard time breathing. Hey, you don't look very good. Man, that's kind of a serious reaction to being unable to think of jokes. Usually when I can't think of jokes, I just get mildly irritated. Takeshi, get out of the way! You came rushing over to Coco, pushed me out of the way, and put her hand on the girl's shoulders. Ugh. Coco, do you have a headache? Yeah, a bit. I feel kinda dizzy. It's like decompression sickness. What about if you swing your arms around? Does that hurt? Just a little. It looked like it hurt more than a little. I suspect it might be decompression sickness due to the sudden loss of pressure on the floor. Yeah, it could well be. Hebe was looking down at Coco worriedly. Let's get her to the White Infirmary. Takeshi, carry her. Huh? On your back. Hurry up and squat down. Alright. I want you to carry Coco. I got it. You don't have to scream in my ear. Fortunately, we have the decompression chamber, right? Although I don't know if that works for, like, decompression sickness. Like, at that point, is it too late? Like, again, not my field of expertise. Like, if suddenly, like, utility curves and, you know, demand function started being relevant to the plot, I would be all over that. But decompression sickness and air pressure are not my areas of forte. We were rushing up to his white stock some 56 feet above us. Coco held onto my back from behind. You and Tsugumi supported her from the sides. Sora led the way and the kid brought up the rear. We emerged at the second floor emergency corridor. Hey, are you sure we shouldn't take a normal corridor? Please proceed straight ahead. This is a shortcut. The emergency corridor was directly connected to the lift below the infirmary. Phew, we made it. Let's get her up there. No, Takeshi, please go ahead into that room there. Huh? Okay, yeah, so this is the decompression chamber. I didn't know there was a back entrance. Oh! So that, I guess, explains where Coco went that one time in the kids' route when she disappears from this room. Like, there's a back door. Assuming that she's not a hologram. Because a hologram can just disappear whenever, right? But assuming that she's real, there is now a door that there's now a second exit, right? So it's not a closed room. Or a closed circle, or what have you. This is a medical compression chamber. We can treat decompression sickness here. Lay Coco down in there. Oh, alright. Coco lay on the bed. The kid and Tsugumi watched all this from beside me. So, what are you gonna do in this tiny room? Isn't it a little cramped for examining her? The space was so small that with everyone in there we could hardly move. I'm not gonna do anything. What are you talking about? We're gonna have Coco relax in this room for a while. I tilted my head, confused. This is a hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Allow me to explain. Decompression sickness occurs when there's a sudden change in the surrounding air pressure and gas bubbles that can't be discharged accrue in the body. Gas becomes air bubbles and these gather in tissues or veins. When gas bubbles remain inside the body, the oxygen respiration efficiency drops dramatically. So, no matter how many deep breaths you take, it feels like you're suffocating? That's correct. But also, if any nitrogen which is dissolved in the blood turns to gas, it could produce a thrombus, or blood clot. Of course, this could hinder blood circulation, which is very dangerous. So we seal the room and pump in a high concentration of oxygen, slowly taking it up to roughly 3 atmospheres. Then we slowly decompress you back down to 1 atmosphere. Using this difference in pressure, we dissolve the gas bubbles in her body back to the blood, where she gets rid of them naturally by breathing. So basically, you make us like a can of cola that won't blow up. Yes, precisely. Okay, I got it. I lifted my hand. Gosh, that dash up the stairs sure wore me out. I heaved a breath. Oh, Takeshi, are you in pain at all? Me? My muscles feel kind of sore and I'm a bit sluggish, but... Hey, Takeshi, don't you think you should probably go in the room too? In light cases of decompression sickness, you're not necessarily aware of it immediately. After you figure out you're in trouble, it's too late? Yeah, and the symptoms can be drawn out. Yes, just to be on the safe side, I want you all to enter the room. Alright, party in the decompression sickness room. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Like, it doesn't look like it's going to be an issue here, but we still don't know why Tsugumi didn't need to head to the decompression chamber in the kids section. Like, I guess it's plausible that she just didn't happen to have any of these gas bubbles or whatever in her blood. Like, I don't know. I don't know, like, the frequency rate that you'll get decompression sickness upon going from 6 atmospheres to 1. It could just be a case that she just happened to be fine. And it was just coincidence. But that's another thing that I should keep in mind moving forward. Just because, like, that was one of the clues that led me to figuring out that Sora was a hologram, right? So it might be relevant for figuring out what Tsugumi's deal is as well. Alternatively, it could just be the case that there's another decompression chamber somewhere, like possibly on the 4th floor, depending on whether Tsugumi is the one that keeps going in and out of the sensor range. So that's also plausible, but in any case, it's something to keep in mind. The decompression process took place over several hours. Coco lay on the only bed. The kid, you, Pee-Pee, and I sat next to her. Oh, I see, so this time Coco has the bed, so perhaps Takeshi will not be the victim of a cruel Sharpie attack. It was cramped. We were like sardines in a can. There was nowhere to move. I wondered what time it was. I took out my PDA and checked. 11:54 p.m. I was sleepy. Coco was sleeping and her breathing was relaxed. It looked like she was doing better. It didn't look like you or the kid were sleeping, but they sat quietly with their eyes closed. Pee-Pee had crawled under the bed. Sora had sealed the hatch from outside and was adjusting the pressure as necessary. Sora, what about you? Don't you need to be treated? Before the process had started, I had asked Sora this. No, I'm used to this. Oh, also, everyone, please remove your voice converters during the repressurization process. They're designed to protect your eardrums from the change in air pressure. However, during pressurization, they can interfere. You know, now that I think about it, it seems kind of irresponsible for Sora not to, like, immediately disclose her sort of existence paradigm to the rest of the group. Like, you can very easily conjure situations where, like, it is very dangerous for them not to know that she's a hologram, right? Like, say one of the rooms suddenly starts flooding, and everyone is, like, trying to get out, right? Like, you could very easily imagine a situation where somebody puts themselves in harm's way to try and help Sora escape, when she doesn't need help, right? She's a hologram, she can just teleport, or whatever. So I feel like it's very irresponsible of her to, like... And she's not even... It's not even just that she's not disclosing it, it's that she's, like, actively avoiding telling them, right? Like, there's now been multiple instances where she's effectively lying to avoid telling the cast that she's a hologram, which seems even weirder given that you already knows. Like when Takeshi's handing out the cola, she's like, oh, I don't like cola. But that's not true. You can't like or dislike cola if you physically can't drink it. Right? You can like or dislike the idea of cola, I guess, but that's, like, not super relevant here, right? And, like, right here, she could just say that she doesn't have a physical body, and as such, circulation isn't really an issue for her. But no, she's, like, going out of her way to, like, sidestep the truth. When the truth is, like, doesn't really hurt anyone, and could, like, knowing the truth could save somebody's life at some point. So it feels deeply irresponsible not to tell the rest of the cast. That's my rant for the day. I removed the earphones that I had become completely used to and held them in my hand. Oh, amusingly, he now can't hear Sora. Sora stood still just outside the hatch window. Tsugumi wasn't inside or visible outside the room. She had left just before the pressurization process had started. Wait, what? Hello? Man, I was all interested about the fact that Tsugumi was inside the room for pressurization, and now she isn't. Which, I guess reinforces my theory from the kids' route that the fact that she isn't in the room is relevant. Right? Because they, went out of their way to avoid putting her in the pressurization chamber this time. Why is that? I don't think I've gotten really any indication that she's also a hologram, which would be sort of the go-to explanation. I'm trying to think of, scenes where somebody's physically interacted with her. I think there were a couple moments in the kid's route where she's, walking away from him, and the kid, reaches out to tap her shoulder or whatever, and, taps her shoulder, right, and she's like, don't touch me. It's possible that I'm misremembering, and that's actually from some completely other work of fiction, but I think that was Ever17. And if I'm remembering correctly, then that means that Tsugumi, at least, isn't a hologram. Which means that there's probably some other explanation for why she is not going through decompression sickness treatment. What that reason could be, I have no idea. I bounced the theory a little bit ago that she, there's another decompression sickness chamber somewhere, or that maybe, I don't know, Heimel is still pressurized, but I don't know, I don't really have any ideas that I particularly love here. So while I am deeply curious about where the hell did she go, unfortunately, this is a route-relevant decision, so I have to ask when Sora's going to sleep. When was Sora going to sleep? The simple doubt jumped into my mind. She was doing minute, complex work non-stop, and she was always on her feet. Maybe she never got tired. When I spoke with her over the interphone and asked her if she were alright, she laughed and said she was just fine. Wait, but we shouldn't be able to hear her, right? Because the reason we could hear her was the comms, right? The voice thingamajiggies in our ears, which we've taken out because of the pressurization. So why can we hear her? That doesn't make sense, based on my understanding of how Sora's voice works. Was it that there's also just, speakers in the room? And also, he shouldn't be able to see her outside the door either, right? Because the system used the voice modulators to sort of calibrate the direction of the hologram. So why does Sora's hologram work? It shouldn't, right? It's supposed to stop working when the voice modulator things are out. Which means that either this Sora is a real-life human being, which I find unlikely, but not impossible, given that she physically interacted with the kid in the epilogue of her route. Right? She, taps him on his shoulder or something, which I thought was super weird at the time. And, I don't know, maybe it was an oversight, but maybe there's also, an actual flesh-and-blood Sora wandering around. Entirely possible. The other possibilities are, well, one possibility is I'm just misremembering how... I'm either misremembering how Sora's hologram/voice system works, or not misremembering so much as, being overly aggressive with how necessary, or, my interpretation of how necessary the voice modulators were. Because, it could just be that maybe the angle of the lights of the hologram or whatever aren't perfect necessarily, but, as long as she's just, standing still, it's, good enough. Even if they don't have the voice regulators to calibrate the position of Takeshi's eyes. Maybe they don't need the voice calibrators to get the position of Takeshi's eyes. Maybe they get that some other way. And maybe they're just conventional speakers. Oh, right, it's an intercom. Right? So she could just use the intercom. The intercom is the speakers. Okay, never mind. Okay, so I'm not confused about voice anymore, because they're not talking face-to-face, they're talking over an intercom. Still a little bit confused about the image, but that I can chalk up to misremembering how the hologram system works. So I think this Sora is still a hologram. Like, I'm pretty sure, like 95% sure. Especially given that she just went out of her way to not go in the pressurization chamber and not get soda. And she was still standing outside the room as if she were a sentinel guarding it. Her back was straight and she never slouched, always looking like she was at attention. I wondered if what she had said about being fine not sleeping days on end was true. It really bothers me. I thought that I'd follow up on it later. Even as I thought that, my eyelids got heavier and heavier. But still, even so, today really was an eventful day. And then I fell into slumber. I'm sleepy. The lack of sleep made the echo of the shoes scraping the ground seem louder than usual. As I walked down the emergency corridor, I stretched. Yu was next to me. Coco and the kid trailed a little way behind us. And you slept so hard. Yeah, but what time do you think it is right now? 5:30 a.m. That's right. So that means I only slept 4.5 hours. Not only, you slept that much. I don't know how you could sleep like that given our situation. Because this is the kind of situation that we gotta sleep. Minds have to be sharp. We have to be ready for anything, right? Is your mind as sharp right now? I mean, as sharp as it ever is. Well, I'm still a bit sleep deprived, so not all my pistons are firing. But I think I'm doing about as good as the next guy. Huh? The next thing I noticed, Yu was no longer next to me. I stopped and looked back. I thought the kid and Coco disappearing down a side pathway to the right. I hurried after the three of them. And, how is Sleeping Beauty? Yu spoke to me sarcastically once I caught up. I just told you, I'm not running at full power. Yu let out an exasperated sigh and shrugged her shoulders. She also arched an eyebrow as if annoyed. Takeshi? You know, I think you'd better take a look in the mirror. Oh, they still got his face? Rude. Huh? Mirror? You'd really better wash your face. We entered the emergency stairs from the emergency corridor. Oh, right now I remember. They weren't mad about him hogging the bed, they were mad about him snoring. Which presumably is unchanged. And as such, their vengeance is unimpeded. We'd just been roused from sleep by Sora, and the four of us shuffled to the control room on the 3rd floor, Trita stock. We seemed to have passed through the decompression process without a hitch, as no one had any complaints. Even Coco, who had seemed to be having such a rough time, was sunny, sunny Sunday, windy, windy Wednesday, pretty, pretty pee-pee today. What? Doesn't make any sense. I really hope that's a reference to something, and I'm just missing the reference, as opposed to the alternative, because the alternative is too horrible to think about. Woof. Even the dogs seemed in high spirits. They looked even happier than the day before. The water on the corridor floor splashed and sprayed as we walked. Yu walking next to me had clammed up. I wonder what she's peeved about. I slowed down my pace to walk with the kid. Hey, you got an idea what Yu's all miffed about? Who knows? That would be me, Captain. I know. She's mad about you snoring. The kid answered, grinning. Hey, what are you laughing about? Do you know something that I don't? You sure you don't have any ideas what it could be? If I did, I wouldn't be asking you. You told me to look in the mirror, but... Huh? Huh. That's no fun. The kid kept glancing at my face and trying not to smile. My face? I wiped the palm of my hand on my face. It looked like black ink was smeared there. What's this? I tried to wipe it off with my shirt collar. But it wouldn't come off. Now, don't do that. Like, don't wipe off ink with your shirt. You'll ruin a perfectly good shirt. Oh, there's a toilet over there. The faucet was broken and the sink was overflowing with water. I hurriedly washed my hands and then my face. The mirror in front of me was shattered into so many shards it was useless. But most of the black had come off of my hand, so I thought my face was probably alright. That girl. I said it disgustedly and hurried out of the bathroom. I went up to Yu again. Hey, you, what did you write on my face? Huh? While I was asleep, you scribbled all over my face, didn't you? Scribble? As she walked, Yu gaped at my face. What is this guy talking about? Probably still asleep. Don't play dumb with me, you. You were just talking about a mirror. Oh, was I? A mirror? You said it. I know you said it. Are you sure your ears aren't playing tricks on you? I'm pretty sure you're still half asleep. Then what's this? I showed her my shirt collar where I had wiped the ink. What? You mumbled this, so I stepped closer. Well? Suddenly she grabbed my hand and stared at my palm intently. Oh, your palm has an interesting future for you. Palm reading? Is that what you're into now? Your palm tells me that your fate diverges into two distinctly different futures. Ah, meta jokes. It's kind of an all-or-nothing outcome. That's kind of funny, actually. Because, like, you is this, like, hardcore skeptic, right? That's what we learned from her route. And here she's, like, accurately fortune-telling, because there's, like, two different routes I can go from here. Either the Sora route or the Tsugumi route. That's cute. You'll either acquire or lose everything. Oh. Is this a meta joke? Like, now that we're locked into the Sora route, is she talking about the fact that we can get a good end or a bad end? I'm confused. One path will put you on the road to riches, a good job, an encounter with a beautiful woman, and bless you with a strong home and offspring. And you'll be as healthy as possible. And you'll live to a ripe old age that will make those around you jealous. However, if you take the other path, you'll be in dire straits. Dire? Yes, but I can tell you no more. You should take a good look at the middle of your lifeline, because that is where the answer can be found. Yeah, they're definitely leaning on the fourth wall a bit there. I looked down at the palm of my hand. My eyes traced a line down my lifeline. Wide-eyed, I scrutinized each wrinkle in line. She's fucking with you, dude. But I didn't see an answer anywhere. There was still black ink in the creases of my hand. Black ink. Black ink. Black ink? I remember what I was angry about. Forget fortune-telling. Wow, as a diversion that was, like, more successful than I would have expected. You. You're trying to trick me. What? Hey! The next thing I knew, you was no longer beside me. I stopped and looked back. I saw the kid and Coco vanish into a small side corridor. Oh, jeez, I don't believe these guys. I hurriedly chased after the three of them. Tsugumi was in front of the control room. She was leaning against the wall, her arms folded and facing down. Is this relevant? It is not relevant for the route I'm currently doing, but we'll talk to her anyways. I wondered where she could have run off to the day before, but decided not to ask. I decided to shower her with the cheeriest greeting I could muster. Good morning! How are you feeling? If you aren't feeling good, you should probably get to the decompression chamber. Tsugumi didn't budge. She stood there with her mouth half open, only blinking her eyes a couple of times. What's the matter? You tired? Low blood pressure? Well, I didn't exactly sleep like a baby either. That damn room was so small I ended up hitting on the floor all night. I yawned and rubbed my eyes with both hands as I spoke. But then Tsugumi's eyes narrowed into slits and she leveled a steely glare at me. It was the kind of look that could kill. You are the absolute worst. Huh? Tsugumi shook her head as if she were fed up with me and vanished inside the control room. Absolute worst? Hey, hold on a sec. Takeshi. Sora's voice came from behind me. What are you doing there? Please hurry inside. But just please, go inside. The expression on her face appeared more stressed than the day before. It seemed as if her face said that something serious were unfolding. Alright, and although it's a bit early, I'm going to close this video now so we can find out what the serious business Sora has to tell us about is on the morrow. So, that's it for me. I'm out. Catch y'all later. Peace.